Hey everybody, and welcome once again to our latest round of GAA predictions. Once again, I'm joined again by Jack from Betting Ireland. How you doing, Jack?
I'm doing great, Lewis. How are you?
Not too bad. Really excited about this weekend, obviously,
Yeah.
with the All-Ireland football final. Feels like it's been a long time coming. Some fantastic semi-final action before to set up the two winners. The only difficulty is, of course, it's an incredibly difficult match to call between Kerry and Donegal. What are your initial thoughts about the game?
I think it's going to be an excellent game. I think we've got definitely, based on the year so far, the two best teams in the country going against each other. And it's sort of a mix of styles as well. Kerry brilliant in attack, Donegal brilliant in defence, but also Donegal are brilliant in attack as well. But it's a hard one to call. I think it's going to be a very exciting game, and it's a game worthy of being an All-Ireland final.
I totally agree. I think it's a game that, like you said, the clash of styles makes it an even more interesting game. It's the two best teams in the country. Obviously, we talked before about Kerry's momentum, not just winning the provincial, but winning the Division 1 title before that. They've just found a way of winning this season. I don't always think they've played at their very best.
No.
But I think, obviously, the man David Clifford has dragged them over the line in a lot of games. He's been imperious. Donegal, I think, touched on their defence, but what's really impressed me in the knockout stages is their attack. Scored 6 goals. They've got 3 in the semi-final where they absolutely, hammered Meath. So I think it's an incredible game. Both teams are in great form. It's just a question of, I think, which style you think will prevail on the day.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's just about Donegal. They just have every aspect of their game really working perfectly at the moment. Whereas if you look at Kerry, sometimes defensively they can be a bit found out in games, as was the defeat earlier in the year to me. But I think since then, that was what they needed, sort of, to turn the corner a bit. Whereas Donegal have kind of been consistent the whole year. I think since Jim McGuinness came back to Donegal last year, they've only lost 3 championship games, and 2 of those were sort of dead rubber group games that you wouldn't really, have too much focus on. Then the other was a semi-final last year. So I just have a sneaking suspicion that Donegal was big. I think when we started these videos at the start of the year, we picked our sort of who we thought were the contenders. I think I ended up picking Donegal, so I think I better stick with Donegal this weekend, even though I have something about Kerry as well, because they seem to be in spells in games. We've seen against Armagh, they just had a 15-20 minute spell where they scored about 20 points, and I don't think any team in the country can deal with that if they do get that form on Sunday.
I agree. I mean, it's interesting. At the start of the knockouts, I was favouring Kerry just because I felt they had that momentum with them. But as the knockouts have progressed, I just think Donegal are a bit too strong. I think you're right. Kerry playing moments. I don't think that'll be. I've got a feeling that won't be enough against Donegal.
No.
I think they're strong enough defensively, and their attack has really kicked on. Obviously, in Kieran Moore, they've got a fantastic young player. Seems to epitomise how they play, the way they drive forward, the swarm teams sometimes, very relentless. And I think it's hard for teams to live with that. And obviously, they tend to get stronger as the games go on as well. What was interesting to me is obviously the bookmakers are finding it hard to split them. I noticed today that they've been pretty evenly priced, but I think Goalscorers have made Donegal the slight underdogs at 2.20, which to me makes them a slightly higher value bet. It's normally a game where you don't always favour the money line because it's so tight, but I think 2.20 for Donegal is actually quite an interesting bet just to win outright because, like I said, I just think they've got a slight edge here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think edging towards Donegal as well, and I think just the way Kerry have been performing this year, as you say, in moments, I think on the day in a final, things will be a lot tighter. So maybe they won't have the freedom they once had, and maybe nerves will kick in, etc. So I definitely think that price for Donegal is the way to go this weekend.
I also think there's a lot of value in games like this in some of the alternative markets. Obviously, picking a winner can be hard in games like this. It's not quite a 50-50 game, but it's as close as you can get, I think. But I noticed the over-under market at 47.5 points. Tempting to go over that. Both teams have been scoring a lot of points in recent games. As you say, Kerry can also be a bit vulnerable defensively. And they've scored, I think, 10 goals between them in the knockout stages. So I think betting on that over, I think that's at 2.50 with Goalscorers now, which again is quite a good bet. So I quite like the look of that.
Yeah, I was just going to say myself that market as well stood out to me. I think if you look at the website in Betting Ireland, Enda's prediction for this one, he talks about the 4 to 7.5, and he says 4 of the last 6 games between these two teams have had over 47.5 points. So I think even the history between the two teams suggests there'll be a lot of points. And I was thinking, 48 points sounds like a lot, but
Yes.
24 points each. Both teams are high scoring. They could score 121, 218, so it's not overly ambitious to think it will happen at the weekend. I do think it will be a high scoring game, and at the odds of 2.5, as you say, it's very enticing to me.
I totally agree. I think normally in a final you might think it might be a bit tenser and you might tend to go for slightly less points being scored, but I think with these two teams, the way they play, I think because how the stars will gel, they'll bring the best out in each other, and I think especially if we see some early point scoring action, I think we could see quite a few goals and quite a few points. So I think that's a really good market. Is there any other market that stands out to you?
Yeah, there's a few markets that stood out to me. I think there's Spoil Sports are offering a boat to score, a goal market. I think it was odds of 2.20 as well. And these two, as you mentioned earlier, goals in games between these two this year, especially in the knockout stages, Kerry. In the beginning of the year, they weren't finding the back of the net as much, but now they definitely are. And I think in the last 6 meetings between the two teams, there's been 10 goals, with Donegal getting 6 and Kerry getting 4 goals.
Yeah.
So I just think I think both teams will want to go in this game, a final especially. It definitely helps you kick on if they get an early goal. So I think both teams to score a goal. I think I'm surprised that the odds was 2.20. I was expecting it to be maybe 1.5 or something around there, just because how efficient both two teams are in front of goal and how the quality they have in attack.
I agree. I think some of the markets I found a slightly higher price than I thought. Even the win for Donegal at 2.2, I thought was slightly high. David Clifford was always a good bet as an anytime goal scorer. Especially in big matches, he just seems to have like big matches. I think he got more than half of Kerry's points in the semi last week. Another important goal. He's just a really strong player in these clutch moments, and I think you can get on him at around 2 evens to be an anytime goal scorer. It's not a huge bet, but I think for that kind of market, it's not bad, and I think he does offer value there.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant price as well, just because he clearly is head and shoulders above everyone else as a player. He's the best player in the country at the moment and has been for a number of years. So I think they've been very generous with that price as well. And I think I was looking there, as you say, he's in excellent form since the Meath defeat. In the last 3 games, he scored 4 goals and 23 points, and I'd say that's a high percentage of what Kerry have been scoring. So he's definitely one to look for in this game. I'm sure he'll be tightly marked, but he's a hard player to mark, and I'd be surprised if he didn't find the back of the net on Sunday, especially considering I think it will be a game with goals in it. He will definitely come to the fore if that's the case.
I totally agree.
Is there any other markets that stand out for you?
Well, for me, in the other goal scorer markets, actually, I found it quite interesting. Kieran Moore has been in like really good form. I think a lot of people are tipping him to be the young player of the year. You can back him at around 11, I think it was last time I checked, to be an anytime scorer. He's not as prolific as David Clifford, but obviously scored in the semi-final. He's been in great form this season, and I think if Donegal get their style going, we know what a hard runner he is, and I think he always offers that threat. So I think at that kind of price, he might be worth a small shout if you fancy sort of backing a player who isn't typically known in the goal scoring market, but he offers some value there, I think.
So if you were picking sort of a higher bet outside market, is that the one you'd go with this weekend?
Probably. I mean, if I was, I like markets like the goal scorer markets or the over unders in games like this. I think the games are really tight. You can pick a winner. Obviously, we've picked who we think we win. We think Donegal are going to edge it, but it really is such a tight game. It's so hard to call. But yeah, I think the over under market is good. But yeah, if I was going to have a little bet this weekend, then I think it would be one I'd pick. It probably be on the goal scorer market. Maybe David Clifford go a bit safer at 2, or maybe more at 11. But I think both of those offer value in the market. What about you?
Perfect. Yeah, I think, as you mentioned, the over-under is the way I'd be going this weekend, just because of how tight the game is going to be. I do think Donegal will win, but that could easily go the other way if Kerry perform on the day. So I think the over-under market at the odds that it is over 47.5, I think is the one I'd be looking at this weekend.
That sounds good, Jack. That sounds like a good pick.
Now, I think that sums up sort of our predictions for today, and our All-Ireland final predictions for the year are in the books. We're picking Donegal to win, I think, and lots of other markets are available for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video and check out bettingireland.ie, especially the prediction that's up for this Kerry Donegal game. You'll find even more markets. Lewis, thanks very much for your time again as usual.
Thanks, Jack. It's been a pleasure as always.
Perfect. See ya.
Take care.